Well, here we are, 2 days into Lucky Charms month, and it's already beginning. Article after article about transphobia this, anti-LGBT that, so much so that Twitter is under fire for allowing the misuse of pronouns. And, of course, I open this with Lucky Charms month. Clearly a joke. I want to go off and say at the very beginning, guys, I'm not anti-gay, I'm not anti-LGBT, nothing like that. If you're a gay person watching this, dude, I hope you have a ball with it. What I am against is individuals who think that just because they're part of some sort of group, that jokes aren't allowed. Because at the end of the day, comedy is for everyone, and everyone can be and should be a target. No one is off limits when it comes to comedy. So if you're part of the community and you're cool jokes, awesome, you're doing it the right way. If you're not, if you want to get all upset about jokes, well, guess what? That's why I'm saying Lucky Charms month, because you do not get to be so privileged as to think that folks don't get to make jokes about you. So welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle, and we're going to get into this article from NBC about Elon Musk, Twitter, and the misuse of pronouns. Elon Musk's new Twitter pronoun rule invites bullying, LGBTQ groups say. The tech billionaire said Thursday that he would allow Twitter users to freely misgender people on social media site, including through pronoun usage. Oh no, that's such a problem. People are allowed to say words you don't like. I mean, guys, you know that Twitter in real life, right? If someone says something, uses a pronoun you don't like, you got block buttons, you got mute buttons, you can just, I don't know, put your phone away. There's so many options. So yeah, I think that misgendering people on Twitter, that's fine. Now, am I going to go around misgendering people? Now, I'll be honest, it depends. If you're a respectful individual, then by all means, I'll call you what you want to be called. If you're a disrespectful little POS, nah, I ain't going to respect your genders. Respect is earned, not given. And frankly, if you don't want to respect me because of my views on this, that's also a-okay. I'm not going to be out here clamoring for your respect. We can absolutely disagree. We can disrespect one another. That's part of freedom, baby. LGBTQ, it's strange. They're not saying LGBTQIA2+, or whatever the entire thing is. It's a little bit lazy and not very diverse. You're leaving out some very important individuals, or at least people with a sense of self-importance here, NBC News. LGBTQ advocates criticized Elon Musk on Thursday, really they criticized Elon Musk on any day that ends with a Y, after the Twitter owner said he would allow users to freely misgender people on the social media site. In a tweet, on the first day of Pride Month no less, that's right, the first day of Skittles Month, Musk said he personally uses the pronouns that someone, including a transgender person, prefers because it's good manners, but that he wouldn't enforce that policy on Twitter. And you know what? That's fine. That's literally the way I operate. Call people what they want to be called if you respect them or if they've earned it, because yeah, that is the polite thing to do. I'm not just gonna, sit here and automatically call, oh, that's a dude dressed as a woman, I'm only gonna use the word now. When I talk about Dylan Mulvaney, you bet your ass I'm gonna say Dylan Mulvaney's a dude, because at the end of the day, that's what he is. Dylan Mulvaney is a dude pretending to be a chick, making fun of women when that's not how real women act. It is insulting to women. I've been around a lot of real women in my life. Not a single damn one of them acts the way Dylan Mulvaney does. That dude's a fraud, and he's using this acceptance and diversity sort of mentality that's so prevalent nowadays to get rich and famous. And hey, I respect the grift, man. Make your money the way you're gonna make your money. That being said, just know that when he's talking about how hurtful it is that people are misgendering him, yeah, he can go to sleep rolling naked with a ding-dong hat on silk sheets crying into his money because the dude is getting paid. Musk made the comment in a reply to a complaint from Jeremy Boring, the co-CEO of the conservative site The Daily Wire. Boring, which, let's be honest, Jeremy Boring is quite the boring individual. Most of these individuals over at The Daily Wire are complete snooze fest. At the end of the day, I'm not some radical right-wing redneck, I'm just as anti-right-wing as I am left-wing 9 times out of 10, because, like I say in my bio, the truth often lies somewhere in the middle. Who is seeking to distribute a video opposed to trans rights. No, they're talking about what is a woman. It is not opposed to trans rights. It is, an anti-trans video, an anti-trans movie, but it's not opposed to trans rights. It's opposed to this mind virus. Oh, biology isn't real. No, sorry, biology is real. If you're a dude and you want to say you're a woman, again, as long as you're respectful, I'll respect your pronouns. But at the end of the day, let's be real. The fact of the matter is, you are still in fact a dude. Or vice versa. I mean, obviously, I keep saying dude, but obviously the reverse is true as well. You can't change biology, folks. I'm sorry. But said Twitter had canceled a distribution deal, said he considered it free speech issue to not be able to use pronouns that are different from the ones a trans person uses. And that's exactly true. It is a free speech issue. At the end of the day, if you want to use your speech for douchey things, for righteous things, whatever, you are free to use that speech how you see fit. That's what makes it free speech. It's definitely allowed, Musk told Boring. Whether or not you agree with using someone's preferred pronouns, not doing so is at most rude and certainly breaks no laws. Spit them facts, Mr. Musk, Space Daddy. I mean, at the end of the day, do you want to be rude to folks? Most people don't want to go out of their way to be rude to individuals. Well, then again, in today's modern day society on the internet, let me walk that back. A lot of people do want to go out of their way to be rude to folks, but it goes both ways. There was a whole lot of, trannies telling people that just for buying Hogwarts Legacy that, they were going to kill them. I'm just saying, threats of murder seems a bit rude if you ask me. So let's not pretend that the LGBTQ community are just these paragons of nice individuals all the time. No, they're just people, guys. LGBTQ, straight, gay, whatever, y'all just people. Just like people who are, cis or straight or any of that other dumb terminology, just people as well. Some people are shitty, some people aren't shitty. So if you want to be rude, be rude. If you don't want to be rude, don't be rude. But don't get to hide behind this diversity shield because sleeping with someone of the same gender as you automatically makes you some sort of protected class. No. People are people. They're going to do what people do. And if that includes being rude or getting made fun of, you know what? That's the way the world has always worked throughout a myriad of subjects. This is just another little piece of the pie. Musk said Twitter employees who told Boring otherwise had made a mistake. In culture war battles online and off, using pronouns other than what someone prefers is a common way to bully trans people. Twitter banned this practice as part of its rule against degrading behavior or other hateful content in April, when the company's new management under Musk quietly changed the rule without an official announcement. The rule had been in place since 2018. Musk's latest statement drew rebuke from the LGBTQ organizations, which said the new policy opened the door for anti-trans harassment. And you know what? Fair enough. Maybe there is a door open for anti-trans harassment, but that was like the only sort of harassment that wasn't okay on Twitter. That and like anti-minority harassment. You want to harass folks the other way? Dude, Twitter was all for it. They encouraged it. What? You want to bully Republican senators and representatives off the website? Go for it. You want to tell content creators that want to talk about how Star Wars has been ruined by feminism to go kill themselves? You go for it. Twitter very much had a bias. And don't get me wrong, I still think there's a bias, but it is much, much less impactful now. And folks like myself who just want to complain about how comic books have been infested with this modern mind virus, yeah, we're able to freely speak now about how we don't like the turn the comic books have taken. And you know what? For me, that's a win. I just don't like them pretending that there was no harassment coming from the LGBTQ individuals. Again, we can go back to something as recent as Hogwarts Legacy. I saw far more harassment coming from, the Rainbow Brigade, the Lucky Charms gang, than I did being directed at the Skittles Parade. Let's just be real about it. People weren't exactly happy because J.K. Rowling was going to make money even though she had no involvement with the game itself, and some folks on the LGBTQ side got rather upsetty spaghetti on Twitter and started taking it out on anyone and everyone, including your boy here and a few friends of mine up in this YouTube game. So yeah, there's absolutely harassment on Twitter. There's no such thing as a harassment-free world, and there never will be, and I think that's a good thing. If you can't handle harassment, and by the way, we're using the word harassment very liberally here, ironically enough, there is no such thing as harassment online, when again, things like the mute, block, snooze button, and of course, just closing the app for a bit all exist. Maybe just don't spend your entire life, your entire existence dictated by how you're perceived on Twitter. That's a good starting point just for your own mental health. Twitter was once a place where many marginalized people, including LGBTQ people, found community. Yeah, and it still can be. Nothing is keeping that from being the case. You can still have closed groups on Twitter. You can still have followers that you are able to curate to your heart's content. Twitter was not just for the LGBTQ community. Twitter is for anyone and everyone. Always has been, always will be. Now, I will say, there was a time in the past where Twitter, while it was for everyone, was mostly for the elites, especially the left-leaning elites, more than anyone else. But those times seem to be behind us, or at least very quickly approaching being behind us, which leads to real equality, which I'm A-okay with. It's become hostile, Laurel Powell, a spokesperson for the Human Rights Campaign, said in a phone interview. Really? Where was this whole it's become hostile when every single tweet was just this barrage of anti-Trump stuff? And I'm not even a Trump guy. I don't give a damn about Trump. Don't particularly like Trump all that much. But let's be real. If we're being objective here, there was a lot of hostility towards the leader of the free world. In fact, I would say far more directed at him than what was being directed at, a large conglomerate of people. You've got a large group of people directing all their hate at one man, or admittedly quite a bit of hate as well, but being spread across a large contingent of folks. Now, I think that targeted harassment towards one person person, probably still a bit bigger of a deal than dispersed over a bit of a large group. I'm just saying, like, mathematically, I would think one would be worse than the other. So I really don't want to hear about a hostile Twitter when Republicans, Trump, and frankly, even folks like me who are firmly in the middle and vote both ways depending on the issue and just want to talk about damn Star Wars movies, we got a lot of hostility coming at us too, but there was no one running defense for us. We had to fight that fight on our own, banding together in some small insulated groups, being like, yeah, we ain't gonna let them take Star Wars from us. Luke Skywalker's my boy. Twitter has always been hostile. Twitter will always be hostile. Just turn the phone off and maybe get out there and touch some grass if you're feeling a little lightheaded. Like, that's all it takes, people. The real world is outside, not trapped in this nice little box here. What we're seeing isn't really about censorship or discrimination of ideas. It's about the kind of company Twitter wants to be and the kind of world they want to shape, she said, which is a good world. A fantastic world. A world where everyone gets to say what they want as long as it does not infringe upon the rights of others. And guess what? You do not have a right to not be offended. Hearing something offensive is not an infringement upon your rights as an American citizen. I mean, it might be in some other bass-backwards countries where free speech isn't a real thing, but here in America, the only country that truly matters besides Japan, because let's face it, what would the world be like without anime? God, I don't even want to think about it. But aside from those two countries, let's be honest, America, we're still number one in terms of, I don't know, letting folks speak their mind and not get sent to jail for it like they do in frickin' Canada. Rodrigo Hengleinen, executive director of the National Center for Transgender Equality, said Musk's tweet was disappointing. This will only increase hate speech that has harmed our community within social media spaces, he said in a statement. Well, there's no such thing as hate speech. There is only free speech that can sometimes be hateful, but guess what? That's allowed. Hengleinen said lives may be at risk, citing a 2020 survey from the Trevor Project, an organization focused on suicide prevention. Transgender and non-binary youth, well, what do you mean by youth here? Talking about people under 18? No such thing. Who said that all or most people in their lives respect the pronouns, attempt suicide at half the rate those who did not have the pronouns respected, according to the survey. Well, I'm sorry, that's a mental health thing. If you don't have the stones to be able to hear and handle words you don't like, the issue is not the people saying the words. The issue is with yourself, your heart, and your mind. If you are so weak that you cannot handle words that are just, mean to your fifis and you decide to full-on Chris Cornell yourself, I'm sorry, that's on you. That's your own weakness. They're just words. They only have the power that you give them. There are plenty of words out there that I personally don't like hearing, such as low fat, but I don't feel the need to turn into the lead singer of Linkin Park anytime I hear low fat. Musk has a history of staking out anti-trans positions. No, they're not anti-trans positions. What we see here, once again, is propaganda and indoctrination from the media. Freedom positions is what Musk stakes out. Now, yes, there's controversy about him banning people that disagree with him, and yeah, I agree, that shouldn't have been done. I'm on your side with that one. But at the end of the day, they're not anti-trans positions. Do not call them that. That's not what they are. You're being disingenuous. In tweets, he's mocked trans people and accused trans rights advocates contradicting themselves. Last month, he participated in a Twitter event to launch the Republican presidential campaign of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has signed several bills restricting LGBTQ rights. No, he has not. They have not been restrictive of their rights. People do not seem to understand what rights are, but okay. A year ago, one of Musk's children filed a petition to change her name and have her gender officially recognized as female, saying she didn't want to be related to Musk in any way. And you know what? That's that person's right. They can file that petition, assuming they're of the legal age and whatnot to do so. That's their right. I'm going to defend your right to do that. Yeah. Yo, Elon Musk's little child there, assuming you're an adult. If you want to sign away, your gender or your name or whatever and don't want to be recognized as related to Elon Musk, you have the right to do that. I have the right to find that complete and utter dumbassery. We both got that right, and I will support your right to do what I think is complete and utter dumbassery. Musk elaborated on his current thinking in his Thursday tweet. I should note that I do personally use someone's preferred pronouns, just as I use someone's preferred name, simply from the standpoint of good manners, he said. However, for that same reason, I object to rude behavior, ostracism, or threats of violence if the wrong pronoun or name is used, he said, he added, which, you know what? Again, that's a fair statement. That's a right down the middle sort of centrist idea, and you know what your boy Leon loves? Centrism. GLAAD, the LGBTQ media advocacy organization, said the earlier Twitter rule existed to protect people from harassment and to reassure advertisers who don't wish their ads feature adjacent to bullying. Elon Musk continues to double down on making his already struggling site less safe for users. Yeah, already struggling site. I'd like to see you back that up with some numbers, though of course you're not going to, NBC, and even less appealing for advertisers, the organization said in this statement. My question is, if it's so unappealing, then why are people still there? If Twitter is so unappealing to both advertisers and users, why are all these gay people still hanging out there? Why are all these trans people, queer people, whatever, still hanging out there? If it's so unappealing. Let's be honest, because it's not that unappealing. You're just looking for something to throw a fit about. Guys, more articles are going to come out like this, probably multiple a day since we are in Lucky Charms month, and let's be honest, they're going to be the same thing over and over. I'm going to cover the ones that I find are worth covering, but this is not going to turn into like some sort of anti-gay for the month of June channel. Nah, look, I'm a believer in freedom for all people, gay, straight, trans, normal, whatever. Okay, you can have the freedom to do what you want, who you want, with you want, whatever, as long as you're not infringing the rights of others. The only thing I'm going to comment on is when corporations and big media try to pander and, worse than that, indoctrinate individuals, sway them to a way of propagandic thinking that your boy here is not a fan of, and then when you involve kids. Those are the only two things. You do whatever the hell else you want. Not only am I okay with it, I support it because I am a fan of freedom. Do whatever you want. But leave kids out of it, and frankly, the corporations and propaganda news articles, those are just pure cringe and need to be called out for what they are. But those are just my opinions. Let me know yours in the comments down below, or let me know on Twitter, the most anti-LGBTQ site ever, where you can find me, your sis daddy here, at Bolt the Word. And please do subscribe. We are just shy of that 1,000 subscriber mark. I'm talking less than 20 subscribers away, so please do hit that button. I would love to get to the 1,000 subscriber mark, frankly, before Lucky Charms month is over. I am a nerdy news channel. I do nerdy news every day, not just about LGBTQ rights. Like I said, that's not usually the intent of this channel. Usually it's movies, anime, video games, Magic the Gathering, you name it. It's all here in the nerdosphere, and this has been Words of Paradise.